We're good. We're ready. We're set. We're moving.
We are super excited. Wait, looks like
We're ready. We're set. We're moving.
we are live. Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. I am so excited today to bring you a really amazing friend of mine. So for those of you who are new to the group, because I know we get lots every day, I am Brittany. I am one of the admins here in the Holistic Health and Wellness group, and we are always trying to provide you with lots of value. If you're here with us live now, say hello, drop us a hashtag live so that we know you're here. I am bringing you my good friend, Luke Anning. He is a podcast host to, what is it? One of the podcasts is in the top 2%. Am I right?
The whole podcast is top 2% now. It's only been 6 months as well. So it's been like this.
That is so amazing. And he's also a badass business coach. Super positive. We're going to talk today about his story, kind of how he got to where he is. And then we're going to give you guys some great value on just like taking care of your health, how that's going to affect your life, how that's going to affect your business. So really excited. Luke, hello. Thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the warm welcome. I was like, oh, that's so warm. It makes me feel so good. So yeah, everybody coming in, just want to say thank you so much for taking the time out of your day on Saturday of all days to come in here and be live with us. Really, really appreciate it. And if you're watching this on the replay, appreciate you just the same as well.
Yeah, super excited. So tell us a little bit about your story. I know some things, and I think this could be very valuable for a lot of the people in here. I know we've both experienced, our own traumas and, struggled with mental health and things like that. So I know about like your attempt. Can you talk a little bit about that and where you were and how you got from this place of, wanting to take your own life to where you are now hosting, a podcast in the top 2. You're the most positive, happy person I know. I love your energy. So what got you to where you were in that despair? And then how did you overcome that and get to where you are now? I think that'd be really beneficial for everyone.
Yeah, brilliant question. And I just want to say thank you for asking it. And yeah, it's always funny when I tell my story because there's so many different things and different parts that I can speak to, but I'll try and bring it all in for you guys listening. So when I grew up, I knew that I was vastly different to everybody else. And there's a sprinkle a little bit of like not being sure of my sexuality in that time in there. But when I was born, my parents went around a lot. So my mum went back to work 5 days after I was born. My dad was working 7 days a week. I didn't really know him until I was 5. So in terms of like my parent connection, like they're amazing people. Like they work their ass off all the time, but there wasn't like a strong emotional connection there. So really that established a lot of insecurity within myself throughout childhood. And then add on top of that, I was really questioning my sexuality really early on. I knew from like 4 years old that like I liked guys as well as girls. So like that was confusing. And then on top of that, I figured out I was depressed from 6 to 24 years old, just always had it going on. And that led up to when I was 14 was the first time I tried to take my life. And then that failed miserably, but gratefully. And then I followed through with school. I did biology, did environmental sciences. I was very like health-based related. So I feel like a lot of people can resonate with that. I was sort of training at the gym and I was showing up, doing all these like very macho based things to like hide my sexuality, so to speak. And really it really wasn't working. And fast forward, I went to university. I did ecology and wildlife conservation. I was always doing a lot of sport on the side of it. So I always had an active lifestyle. But as I came through that, I was also taking a lot of drugs at the same time to really like hide away from my pain, hide away from my trauma. There was some sexual abuse that happened when I was 15. There was just various other incidents that happened, and it was just very hurt person. I was very hurt within my childhood. And when I came out of university, I really had no idea what I wanted to do. I knew that, so to speak, I wanted to help people, but still had no idea. So I stepped into a 7 to 5 construction job, and the going just got worse. Like my sleep pattern, I must have been sleeping like 3 or 4 hours a night at best, 5 days a week. And then I would get really, really drunk every single weekend. And then the cycle just continued. And I was still training at the gym, but I was destroying my body. I know a lot of people can get to that point where they use gym as their out, as their therapy, but then it just becomes another vice for pain, where you go in so hard that you do it so hard so that you can try and escape your thoughts and release anger. But really it's an avoidance. It's an avoidance of feeling a certain way, because we haven't been taught how to feel. Like, you guys listening in, like, where in school were you taught how to be conscious? Where in school were you taught how to deal with different variances and frequencies of emotions? We weren't. So then, especially as a guy, but you can speak to so many women and everybody far and in between and outside of that, as to the inability to deal with emotions. We mask them so much, and we just pain. And as you guys know from the holistic health world, like, this comes up in suppression and repression and stays stuck within our body. But fast forward, as I was coming towards the end of the construction job career, so to speak, me and my ex-girlfriend were in a pretty toxic relationship, and we were just like, it's just not happening. Like, we were staying together, and I said, like, look, we've got to do something here. So we cut it off. And on that same day, I said, rather than suffer like I had done in all of my other relationships, and I'd been in relationships from 16 to 24 as well, so I'd never really developed a sense of self. I was like, I'm not going to suffer like I used to. I'm not going to just jump into something. I'm actually going to commit to a goal for once in my life. Like, I've never done that. Let's just see what happens. I'll just send it. We'll see what happens. And within 3 weeks of having the fitness coach, it was like, okay, here's one area of your life you're actually excelling in now. So what about all the other areas? And I was listening to a podcast, and there was a guy called Seth Feroce. And is it cool if I swear?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. And he's a pretty hardcore bodybuilder. And he was like, if you don't like your fucking life, like, change it, like, actually do something. And I was like, okay. Like, I just called up this events guy that I knew. I was basically over on the phone. I was like, dude, like, whatever you have, like, I will be there Monday. Like, I don't care what position you have. Like, if it's even like low paid, like, I'll be there. Like, trust, like, I will be there. And I knew that when I was going to step into this position, the reason why I couldn't do it when I was in this relationship was I felt the burden. So many men feel this. I've felt the burden of forcing the relationship to work, even though I had other things that I wanted to do, of like supporting her and seeing her excel in her career, but me still at this low vibration, low energy, and just kind of ticking on. But I didn't have that anymore. So I knew when we split up, I could be free to, so to speak. And I've always been that person who will do absolutely anything. Like, in terms of like craziness, that was always like, I was the most crazy person on nights out. But it meant that when I stepped into this events job, it was only an internship, which was a beautiful opportunity. But I knew that I was going to be staying on my friend's floor, and I knew that I was going to be staying or sleeping in my car some of the times as well. So I stepped forward with that, and I was working another job as well. So I was bat surveying at night, working events, marketing and sales in the day. Still running on like 5 hours sleep, still bodybuilding, and still just going. If you're into human design, I'm a generator. So like, I can work astronomical amounts of hours and be cool. And it actually suits me better to do that. So that's like a really good thing to learn. If you're not into human design, definitely walk yourself forward into it. But along that road, I was like, I always wanted to work in events because I always wanted to change somebody's life for one night. I was like, if I can just change somebody's life for one night, that would be everything, because that's what events were to me.
Yeah.
And then I started the events job in the middle of COVID, so I knew it was a matter of time. And then the day came where it was like, guys, like we got to clear it out. Like we can't do this anymore. I'd also made some mistakes working for the event, so I kind of got fired and let go at the same time. And I was like, I had a month of just doing odd bits and pieces, like helping like little bits of online coaching, but it wasn't really official. And I spoke to my fitness coach at the time, and I was like, I've had like over 10 years of athletics coaching at this point. Like, I know exactly what I'm doing in the gym. I know exactly what I'm doing with nutrition. Like, if I'm helping the old version of me, I can help that person. So he was like, dude, if you feel confident to do so, like I can support you with what we have here, but like just go for it. So I was like, sick. And I had 8 clients from the get-go, which was awesome because I just posted on my Instagram stories like, hey, who would maybe be interested in this? And they were like, yeah. But I was only charging like the equivalent of like maybe, well, I mean, equivalent now because our currency's just done, is the equivalent of $90 a month for coaching. And within 3 weeks, we went straight back into our third lockdown in our country. And I couldn't support my clients at that time. They were just like all motivation was gone. So I lost all my clients, and I was like, oh, this is not great. I thought this was going to be the one. I thought I was going to be able to help people. I thought I was going to be able to change people's lives. And from a mentorship from another podcast, and I entered the mentorship, and within 45 days of being in the mentorship, I'd earned $12,000, and I'd kind of risen to kind of like the top ranks of all the highest performing coaches in there. But I started walking down the journey, and I was like, as much as I love fitness coaching, fitness for me was never, I've got to lose a ton of weight, or it was never like, I've got to get my health back on track. Yeah, for me, it was a goal to go towards, but fitness for me was always about my mental health and trying to keep it aligned, trying to get it to work. So I ended up switching to confidence and mindset, and that worked out pretty well as well. I got to some 10K cash months with that, got a group program going, like everything was going great. But I was like, I'm still not feeling 100% aligned. And as soon as I was in that mentoring group, I was coaching people on marketing and sales because I'd done that in my events job and done really well with it. And I was like, I feel like I'm getting 30 DMs a day from other coaches asking me how to connect with people, how to tweak their calls, how to do all these different things. And I was like, dude, just like smell the roses with this one. And then yeah, I ended up stepping into coaching coaches, and that's been beautiful. And at the very, I think about a month before was when I started the podcast, and the podcast was really, how can I share the information that I've paid for astronomically and put my back up against the wall over and 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 over again, continually. I still do it now. And how can I share that information for free? Because not everybody's willing to do that. So that's how the podcast came about. And then I don't even know how I got to top 2%, really. Like there was some strategy in there, but really it was like, let's just post 3 podcast episodes a week and make them short rather than super long ones. Because as much as I love a 3-hour Aubrey Marcus podcast, like I'm not going to listen to that. Like I'm quick fire, like to the point kind of guy. So yeah, that was the intention. And then that's led me down this road of where I'm at now, and then connecting with Brittany. So yeah, that's how I'm here.
Yeah, that's so awesome. There's a lot to unpack there. You know, you were willing to really like struggle, right? Like you knew that you were like meant for something greater, that you wanted something greater, but you were like, all right, I'm gonna have to sacrifice some things. I'm gonna have to sleep on my friend's floor. I'm gonna be sleeping in my, you know, in my car some nights, but I'm willing to do that to get to where I know that I need to be. So can you tell us maybe like what were some of the things going on in your head at that point? Because I know that we can all have that like really negative like self-talk. We can, talk ourselves out of things because we want to be safe, whether that's focusing on improving your health or whether that's growing a business or anything like that. So how did you really like shift that in your head of like, instead of being like, oh great, like I'm sleeping on the floor, I'm sleeping in my car, to being like, I'm gonna do this so that I can get to where I need to be?
Yeah, I've always been prepared to just do what's necessary, whether that be from, I'm the guy like when we used to live in like housemates and there'd be like a drain issue, like I'll put my hand straight down the drain. Like I don't give a shit. Like I'm that guy. But I think that same hand down the drain mentality is the same space of like, I know I've been in the deepest, darkest parts of trying to take my own life. And not just once, not just twice, but 3 times. So like once with like I mean, that's like unnecessary detail, but yeah, some pretty intense scenarios, so to speak, as well as the borderline drug addictions. So I know that I've been in the thick of it. So I know whatever I go into now is never, ever going to be as bad as that. And I know that I got through that. And I think that's a really important thing, that if you're listening, like think about all the things that you have been through over your journey. Think about the times that you never thought that you were going to get through something, but you did get through something. That's such a fuel for being able to move forward and move through any uncertainty that you have now. Even with the worldwide stuff that's going on, I'm in the mindset right now that I just won't be affected by it. And yeah, you could say like, yeah, but technically you are, but like I'm in the mindset that I won't. And it was the same with COVID. I was like, I'm just not going to get it. Like my entire family had it. Everybody around me had it. I literally went to my brother. I was like, this sounds really immature and this might trigger some people, but I don't care. I was like, bro, like cough in my face right now. I won't have it. I won't have it. Like straight up. Like I just won't have it. But that's the power of like when your mindset is so aligned, that's the space that you can walk through. But that's not me saying that like I don't get negative thoughts now.
Right.
Like I still have negative thoughts. I still wake up, like I do something really powerful. And this is one of my mentors gifted me this, which is subconscious writing. So as soon as you wake up, just write out like what your thoughts are saying. Because it's really rare that without going into some intense somatic breath work, or without going into like maybe a psychedelic experience or something like that, that you're going to get access to that raw subconscious mind in essence. So it started off, I remember one of the first things I wrote, I think it was day 2 of what I was writing. And sometimes it's some crazy stuff. You don't even know what you're saying. Like it was like, elephants are smarter than humans. And I'm like, what? But then the things that I was writing after that was like, I hate you. I don't love you. Why are you here? What's the point in you even doing this? And this is what you're waking up with when you wake up. So that's how I was starting my day every day. Until I started doing subconscious writing, until this year, every day I've been waking up with that. And I was like, yo, 1, my programming is wild, but 2, now I've got a beautiful opportunity to work around this. So now, as soon as I got made aware of what that subconscious was saying, in comes the conscious reaffirmation, the conscious rewiring of saying, okay, like I do love myself. I do deserve to be here. I am worthy. I am set up for success, like whatever that's going to be. That's really my always go to around negative thoughts. Is not just, I like to look at it like this. If anybody listening right now, if you were to go to court and on one side you have a little bit of evidence, maybe one piece of evidence for you being unworthy of your goals, and the jury's got to decide, okay, with you being unworthy of your goals, and maybe you've got one reason for being worthy of your goals. So you've got equal evidence, but maybe the jury's leaning in with a negative, maybe the judge is leaning in with a negative, and our brains are wired for negativity anyhow. So more than likely, this negative side of things is going to win. But if I can not just reframe the positive, but absolutely astronomically destroy it. Like I want to come up with 30, at least 30 pieces of evidence why this negative side is just complete bullshit. Then I'm good to go. So there's something that I don't just use on a daily, but I use for all of my clients. It's for, like, this is why I'm preaching it now. Like it's such a go-to for reframing negative thoughts you do have.
Yeah. So what are some of the things that you teach your clients or that you use yourself on how to reframe these thoughts? Because I have them too. I've had to deal with a lot of, healing from a lot of trauma, those negative thoughts, that lack of belief in self, that, who am I to help other people? I'm not worthy to have this. And I've done things like theta healing and hypnotherapy and biofeedback balancing, writing things out, journaling, practicing gratitude, things like that. So what are some tips and strategies that we can give people who are having these, negative thoughts? Because like you said, we all have them, but some people overcome them really well and other people just stay stuck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So think about it a little bit like this. If you have one ant on like your picnic, it's maybe like a tiny bit annoying, but it's not really like that much. It's not that much. Like it's okay. If I have like 5 or 6 ants, like, okay, like I'm probably like getting a little flustered, like hitting my mic like I am now. And then if I have like a whole ant's nest, like that's my picnic ruined. I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna be flustered, I'm gonna be annoyed. I'm not gonna have my amazing steak baguette. I'm a huge fan. Like I'm just not gonna enjoy myself. But the same goes for your negative thoughts. If you allow the stream of negative thoughts to build and build and build, if you allow the stressors to build and build and build without going, okay, like I need to sit down and deal with this right now. If you suppress it, if you just constantly like try and ignore it, try and avoid it, if you go, oh, I'm going to watch TV, or I'm going to distract myself with something else, or I'm going to go out, or I'm going to smoke weed like I used to, or I'm going to take drugs like I used to, it doesn't go away. It gets worse and it manifests. And the same goes for money mindset as well. If you have the money fears, worrying, and you start and you're saying things and you're not picking up on what you are saying. Like, for example, when I went to Mexico and I did this, like another back against the wall kind of incident. When I went to Mexico, I got invited to a business mastermind to be around 7 and 8 figure coaches. And I knew this was an amazing opportunity. But at the time, my business was up and down. I'd literally just switched niche. So I was in a complete niche. So it was kind of like I had all the skills, but I was at square one. My audience were completely fresh. So I was like at that beginner stages and I was like, oh no, this is not good. So I had to pull out 3 credit cards to go to this mastermind. And I didn't have the money to get back. I was like, I'm going to buy my flight out there. I'm going to go there. I'm just going to have to figure it out. I'm just going to trust that a client is going to come on. But like at that point, otherwise I'm stuck in Mexico and then Florida. And when I got to the mastermind, I was so quiet. I had to ask other people to buy me food, which was really embarrassing at the time, but you do what you do. And my mentors were like, okay, so like, what have you been saying about the credit cards? And I was like, I keep saying that I've been pulling out credit cards and that like I've got like 6K worth of debt right now. And they were like, oh, okay, so how's that going for you? And I was like, well, the debt's not getting any lower. And they were like, right. And it like took me a few seconds and I was like, I've just been trying to explain my situation, but what I've been doing is manifesting myself and cementing myself in it. Mm-hmm. So out of the back of that mastermind, everything was investment loans are at zero, investment loans are at zero, investment loans are at zero. I totally reframed it and totally cleared it within the space of like 6 months, which is awesome. But the same goes for all my clients and everybody that I teach. Like, thoughts are one of the like most start off basic things that we can go with. But then beyond that is asking ourselves, like, what feelings are we feeling right now? Oftentimes we have such resistance to feelings could be anger, could be grief, could be anxiety, could be fear, could be desire, could be shame, could be guilt. Like, hands up in this audience, like, have you ever felt like you're just feeling guilt over something? You feel like you shouldn't have done something earlier. You feel like you should have done something differently, or you shouldn't have invested into somebody. And we hold on to this guilt and this shame, but like, how much self-punishment is enough?
Right.
Like, at what point is it just like, what purpose is this guilt serving me? And the act of just saying, okay, how can I let this go? How can I just accept it? And that might be feeling some rage. That might be screaming into a pillow. Like, giving yourself a healthy opportunity to express anger is huge. Like, I wasn't allowed to express anger as a child. So like, that was really difficult for me to come to terms with. But recognizing that within life, within business, it's your mindset that drives you forward. Yeah, sure, there's strategies. Yeah, sure, they're like systems. Yeah, sure, if you apply that same mindset to the systems, does everything go like that? But at the same time, without your mindset, you can give somebody every single strategy out there that there's going to be, but if you lack the action and execution to take part in it, it's obsolete. It means nothing. I know so many people. I have people come to me and are saying, like, people who've come through, I had somebody come through my program who, we gave her everything and we worked on the mindset, and she was still in the money mindset side of things. And we ended up exiting after 3 months. It was like, hey, this isn't going to work. And I think that's just something to bring up, that like, hey, these client defaults do happen in coaching. Obviously, they're not a massive occurrence, but they do happen. And then I was posting about my money mindset things the other day on my stories, and she said, oh, like, how much would it be to individually purchase this module? I'm not planning on that, but I was like, oh, like, I'll figure out some numbers. But I was like, you've got all the money mindset stuff that we did last time. Like, what's happened to that? And it was like, oh, okay, like, I'm still feeling challenged. And it was like, okay, cool. So like, let's have a look within your calendar where we can fit this in, type of gig. But there's still an aspect of, we've got a lot of work to do with mindset. So I think no matter what strategy I give clients, it's still down to mindset. And it's not like, hey, you've got to show up and you've got to do the work. It's not that. It's asking, if I'm not doing work, what is that resistance within me? Like, if you're listening to this, like, ask this question, journal this question. What is the resistance I'm feeling and why? And so many times it comes down to fear of failure. It comes down to fear of success, that we'll have this massive success and we'll crash back down. And the fear is nearly always the reason why we're lacking action. And behind the fear, there's usually a feeling that we're not wanting to express in a certain way. We're scared to feel a certain way. We're scared to feel uncomfortable. We're scared to feel anxiety. But because we're so scared of feeling these things, we actually then manifest them, but we're not moving forwards. We're just experiencing them. So I feel like there's some parts to pull from that, but journaling questions can really serve you, but you have to know how to journal. So you have to ask yourself why, but then also, okay, once I've understood my deep pitfalls, my whys, because so many people, like, you could have depression, you could journal and you could say, why am I depressed? Why am I depressed? Why am I depressed? Okay, you figured out the reason, but it's kind of like, oh, that's the reason why I'm fucked up. There's no forward movement. That's kind of not how I found therapy worked for me, because I've had 2 amazing therapists, but the first one, after a period of time, it kind of just felt like, okay, this is the reason why I'm fucked up. We're just pulling out more experiences why, like, I'm hurt, which is great. But at the same time, I want to move forwards.
Yeah. What do you do?
I want to move forwards.
Right.
So I like to look at this. A mentor said to me about the left hand and the right hand. So you can do this while you're here. So get 2 hands up. And what I want you to do is, you're going to look in your left hand. So look at your left hand and you're going to open up your left hand. Now, what is in your left hand, Brittany?
Nothing.
Okay. So keep looking at the left hand.
Okay.
Open up the right hand. What is in your right hand?
Nothing.
But could you be absolutely certain that nothing was in your hand?
No.
okay, because we're looking at the left hand, because we're looking at our past, because we're looking at how we're supposedly fucked up, we're not looking at how we can move forwards. So if we can look at the right hand and look at how we can move forwards, then that's going to be where we want to place our focus in. Otherwise, we're always just back at square one. I had this issue for ages. I had such a really bad habit of going on my phone before bed. And I was like, oh, it's because my parents use screens to avoid pain and to avoid stress. And that's why I'm doing it. Oh, it's because I'm trying to avoid feeling. Oh, it's because I'm trying to avoid this. Oh, I should. Like, there were so many reasons. And I was like, got to a day, I was like, dude, you're just justifying why you're here. Like, you're not changing.
Right.
So we have to focus on what is going to move us forwards. So whatever journaling system that you come forward with, whatever questions you ask, just simple question at the end of it, what could I do today that would maybe move me forwards? It's just simple. Doesn't need to be super complex. Just what would move me forwards? And whether that's business, life, money, anything.
I love that, because I think that so many people, we overthink things, right? Like we try to make it so complicated and like, oh my gosh, like I have to do this, and this. And so now's not the time. So I'm just going to wait because it's like too much to do, blah, 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 whatever, whatever crazy stories we make up for ourselves in our head. And we all do it. Right. But I think that's so important. What you said is like, what's one thing, like just one thing, just think of one thing that you can do today that's going to help you reach your goals. That's going to help you get from where you are now to where you want to be. Steps. Like, it doesn't have to be this drastic life-changing experience. Just start with one thing. If that's, if your health, if that's drinking more water, if that's going for a walk, hitting 10,000 steps a day,
right.
One thing that you can do today that pushes you closer to that goal, and do that one thing, nail that one thing down, and then start on something else. It doesn't have to be this crazy thing. If you're an online entrepreneur, because I know we have a lot of coaches and a lot of practitioners in the group. If you're struggling right now in your business, like what's one thing you can do to like be consistent to help you come from where you are to where you want to be? Is that, going live on Facebook? Is that, posting every day? Is that getting a schedule? Is that getting in the DMs? Is, what is it that's one thing that you can just be consistent with, that that one thing can put you on a path to absolutely change your life?
Yeah, I totally agree. And there's so many things that you can do within whatever area you're in. And I can definitely hook you guys up with a habit tracker that we've got that I use for my clients. You guys can have that for free. It's no stress.
Awesome.
But like, one of the most important things to like a habit tracker and building a new habit is that act of saying, have I done this? Yes or no? Because if there's no yes or no, or there's like, oh, well, I nearly got there, or I nearly did this. It's like, we either fucking haven't or you have. Yeah. And because you're putting yourself in this limbo, you're giving yourself excuses. So if you can just say like, hey, I've either done it or I haven't. And then at the bottom of my habit tracker, I've got two concepts. So the first one is today matters. And the today matters technique is, hey, whatever went on yesterday, whatever went on last week, today is the day and I will show up. I see my habit tracker every day. It's literally on the top of my chest of drawers. So I have to get my clothes out, which I know I'm going to do daily, which is going to be one of the first things that I do in the house. My clothes tend to be on top of the chest of drawers anyway already, because I do it the night before. Small habits. But it's up there. I'm going to see it. So I'm going to see all of my habits there. So I'm like, okay, visual cue, I'm set up, I'm going. So the same goes for like, if you want to start exercising more, how can you start visual cueing that? Maybe if you want to start exercising in the morning, like genuinely like make your clothes ready.
Yeah, that's in the morning. My clients.
Yep, it's the like science has said over and over again that visual cues are the best way to go for it. So like visual cue yourself, like whatever that's going to be, put it up there. This is why if your house is an absolute shithole, you end up super scattered, because you've got so many visual cues that your brain's like, I don't know what one to focus on. That's why keep it keep a clean place, clean mind. You're good.
I am very much like that. I have to have everything like organized in the morning before I start working. Like
Yeah.
my dogs always pull my blanket down on my couch and like, all the time, constantly, like all day. And it's just that little thing because it's like it looks messy and it messes with my
Yeah.
head. You know, I want all the dishes, you know, put
Mhm.
away. I want the counters cleaned. I want because then I feel like okay, like I am
Good Zen
calm, I
mode.
have like good, you know,
Yeah.
clean space, this open space, it is really helpful
Yeah.
to you know have that stuff. And yeah, I tell my clients like you want to start working out in the morning, get your clothes out, get up first thing and put them on.
Hmm.
And then if you don't want to work out, take them
Okay.
off.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
It's
like
like just put your trainers on, and if
you're not going to because you already got dressed, right?
uh-huh.
Like, you're trying to talk yourself out of it, but you're already dressed. So just do it, get it in, and you build, you know, you build that habit over time. And those are success habits. I mean, look at the most successful people. They have, you know, they have good habits, right? They're consistent. They, you know, keep doing these things over and over again. And that's how it got them to where they are.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. And there's definitely like a mixture. Like I do want to be flat out honest here. Like there are people that are very successful who don't do certain habits, but they
Yeah.
do have a habit of showing up in their field of discipline that are going to massively accelerate. Maybe, yeah, they do go to McDonald's every day. Yeah, maybe they do go and sleep like certain nights. But okay, that's those people. But how do you want to set yourself up? How do you want to show up for yourself? Like for me, like I don't want to get up and just be a mess. Maybe because I've got the ADHD going on, maybe because like I've learned about what habits really serve me, but I know what makes me feel good. Like
Yeah.
my energy when my energy's up, my energy up, but like you really notice it when my energy is down, and that's not how I want to show up for clients. That's not
Yeah.
how I show up for other people. So within that, I've got the today matters. So it doesn't matter what happened yesterday. It doesn't matter what happened last week. Today is going to be the day that you show up. And then the second concept on it that you'll see at the bottom is you'll see a little black circle, and it's a Zen Bu calligraphy drawn. No, I didn't draw it, obviously, but it's an image that I pulled off the internet. But the concept is with that calligraphy brush that the Zen Buddhist monks, they try and draw a perfect circle with their calligraphy brush every single morning, but you're not able to because you've just done it with a calligraphy brush. And it's partially there for mindfulness, it's partially there for meditative practice, but at the same time, it also points towards you're not going to be perfect.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, you can try as hard as you possibly can, but you're not going to be perfect. I'm sure there's days where you guys have forgotten to brush your teeth. Are you going to beat yourself up about it, or are you just going to do it again the next day? You're just going to do it again. Like, or maybe you get to the end of the day and you're like, I'm going to brush my teeth now. But I'm sure there's days that you've forgotten about it. So the point is to let go of the resentment, the pain, the berating yourself of not doing a certain habit, and to just say, okay, well, today matters and I'm not perfect. So let's do it. Let's do it again. And being consistent with a habit doesn't mean doing it every day. It means that you are a master of getting back on. Like this is how I do it with my clients. If they can do a 7-day streak of one habit, then they can add another habit. They can do another 7-day streak of that habit. They can add another one until they've got whatever, 12, 15, if they choose.
Yeah.
But we think that we have to do it every single day, but consistency is just showing up. It could be every other day. If you get on and then you get back off, and then you get on, you get back off, guess what? You're still consistent. Like you could consistently, I consistently show up to the gym. That doesn't mean I consistently go 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Hell no. Like I did that for 30 days. Well, I did that for 55 days because I failed a challenge and it was like 30 days and I failed on day 25. So I was like, I've got to go again now.
Yeah.
But consistency is going to be you showing up week by week. So if you're a coach in here and you're like, oh, I'm just not posting on socials as much as I should. Okay, so like what would consistency look like? If you're posting once a week, how could we walk you forward to twice a week? And then, okay, cool, we've boxed that off. Okay, how can we step you into 3 times a week? Box that off. some people are like me where you can totally overwhelm yourself with information. You're just like, well, I've got no other option but to just act. Like, I mean, what else am I going to do? Like the task list's only going to get bigger,
Yeah.
but not everybody's aligned with that. So if that is you stepping forward small by small, small by small, small by small, giving yourself that confidence, giving yourself that dopamine hit. Once you do that, gold star yourself. This is how I like to look at my habit tracker. It's like that gold star for a kid. Like if I get 7 in a row, like that's a celebration. I don't know. I'm gonna dance. I'm gonna go out for a walk. I'm probably not gonna go out on the weekend and get on the bevs, but like it's up to you. Like celebrate yourself doing it because it's gonna make you want to do it again.
For sure. Yeah, Karen says she would love the habit tracker. So do you have like a link or something we can put? Luke?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, Karen, we'll get that linked up in here in the comments. And then she has a good question. How can I get my family and friends to start making a change like this?
Oh, what a question. What a question. And honestly, Karen, like I resonate with you so much here because like I'm the one in my family who has kind of reparented my parents. I'm the lighthouse, but recognize you've got to be the lighthouse and not the tugboat. I know we have this immense love for our family to say, I really want to help them do this. Like, why won't they just come to the gym with me? Why won't they just eat healthily with me? But think about trying to give a toddler advice. Like, try and get a toddler to do things. Like, hell, you guys can't even get yourself to do things half the time. It's not going to work. But if a toddler sees you doing something and they see you happy and they see you doing it over and over again, over time, they're going to start wanting to do it. Mum, can I come to the gym with you? Mum, can I come to aerobics or Zumba with you? Whatever you guys are doing. Dad, can I come to the gym with you? Dad, can I come and watch the rugby with you? Can I come and watch the football with you? They want to do things with you. So think about the same application for you with your family. Be the lighthouse. Genuinely, I want you, Karen, and anybody else listening to this, make your life the best you could possibly be. And then start seeing people follow in your footsteps. One of my clients, she was actually a holistic sobriety coach, and she started stepping forward with like really taking control of her habits. Started with codependency, started with money management, started with actually actioning in the right things within her business. And then she went to her family wedding, and then at that family wedding she was getting so much anxiety around it because she was going to see loads of people that she got triggered by. And at that family wedding, people that she'd been trying to get to do exercise and trying to get sober for years, like 15 plus years, had seen her step into her transformation, step into actually taking full force control of her life. And she signed up 2 clients from it who were just family.
Nice.
So like, it doesn't happen if you don't take control of your life.
Right. Yeah, I think that's important. You know, I have a teenage daughter, and you know, at this age, she doesn't always want to listen to what I have to say. And I think, you know, especially because I am in the nutrition space, I am into the healing and all of these like alternative things, it more even makes her not really like want to listen to me sometimes. You know, I'll be cooking this healthy meal and she's got a job. So I'll hear a knock on the door and it's like DoorDash with like, you know, fast food. And I'm like, I'm making this healthy food, you know, like, what are you doing? But I'm like, you know, I realize right now that she's seeing how I've changed my life, right? And how, you know, I've lost the weight and how my mental health has improved and, you know, how I just feel better and how I'm, you know, I'm consistent with my workouts and I'm consistent with my yoga and I'm meditating and she sees all these things. So I know that even though I can't get her to do it right now, you know, and she does some things, she eats pretty healthy, especially compared to most of her friends because I only buy that kind of stuff. But I know that like, as I heal, as I, you know, do these things and I create these healthy habits and the better I get, she's going to see that. And, you know, she's going to want to do those things because she sees the change in me, you know, and she's going to realize eventually, okay, my mom was right. And, you know, if I make these changes to my diet, if I make these changes, blah, 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 I'm going to feel better. I'm going to do better. I'm going to, you know, whatever that is. So I think that's, you know, really great. We have to be the one to make the change. And then they see, wow, like, look at where they were and where they are now. Like, I want to do that too.
Yeah. It's
beyond
like,
forcing people.
it's like where I'm at now with the business coaching. Like I got no traction from anybody whilst from my old university town, Bournemouth, which has a special place in my heart. I was there for 4 years, and like I wish so much change for people there that I used to know. And whether that'll happen, I don't know. But think about it when you start a new goal. Some people are going to be your cheerleaders, some people are going to be really like, oh, I don't know about doing that. But you're still going to have to plug away and do it, and you might continue to have that for years and years and years. But then as people start seeing you succeed, they start saying, oh, like, well done, you're smashing it. And then before you know it, then those same people are asking you, how did you get there? How can we get there? So think of it like that with your family. I've just done a habit tracker. I can send it to, shall I just put it straight in the group?
Yeah, you can either put it in the group or you can we'll link it too in here. So if you want to put it in the chat and Zoom, and I'll add it to
Yeah,
I'll add it
100%.
to the comments. Because I think that would be really great. And I know, like, thank you so much for providing that. I'm looking forward to doing the habit tracker because there's a couple things I've been wanting to work on myself. I've been wanting to do the 75 hard challenge, but
Yeah.
realistically, time wise, I know that I don't have the time to do the 2 45-minute workouts per day
Yeah.
right now, currently. I could count, I walk my dogs twice a day, right? Because it's the one indoor, the one outdoor workout for 45 minutes. I walk my
Mhm.
dogs twice a day. That's my 45 minutes. But I'm like, if I'm going to do this, I want to do something more than what I'm already doing, and adding an additional 45 minutes to that. I'm
Yeah.
like, it's just kind of hard for me right now. So I'm calling it 30 soft instead of 75 hard. But I wanted
Yeah.
to get back into my habit of reading because I was doing really good with that, and that kind of slipped. And I'm like, I really enjoy reading. I really learn a lot from reading and grow from that. So that's one of the things I wanted to add back in. I wanted to be more consistent, like you were talking about with the gym and stuff. I was really good and I got really busy for a couple weeks and I let that slide. But because that's something I've been doing for so long, I came right back into it, right? Even though I didn't work out for 2 weeks, I came right back into it, and I'm getting, so like that was the thing on my challenge. And I wanted to cut out alcohol. I don't drink very much anymore, but I do tend to, I go out for dinner with friends and then I have a couple of
Mhm.
drinks, and I really noticed that like my sleep is crap. I don't feel great the next day. It really like affects my body. Um,
Huh.
even though it's not a lot and it's not often. So I'm like, okay, so I think just doing little things that you can do,
Mhm.
aspiring, eventually, yeah, I want to do 75 hard because I want to prove to myself that I can do that. But realistically, I know right now I'm not going to be able to do that at this moment. So I'm going to start smaller. And so I'm doing my own little, challenge for myself to help build up those habits, to help do these other things, right? So I think that's really important for, the people watching, is do what you can when you can. And I think this habit tracker is going to be a really great way, for people to start building those, those healthier habits and getting to, reach those goals.
Yeah, I'm having some trouble uploading it into
No worries.
the into
We'll get
the
it. You can just
thing.
message
So
it to
I'll
me and then I'll make sure it gets uploaded because I'll link this stuff and all of your information in here as well for people
no,
to
no
contact
worries.
you. And so before we go, I know you have something coming up. Tell us a little bit
We
about
do.
this
I'm so
challenge and
excited
what's
for
going
it.
on, and I'm super excited for this.
It's so unofficial right now. Like I'm like closed doors right now whilst I'm just finishing the build out of my program. I've literally been every day for 3 weeks building out like a massive program. But essentially we've got a 3 day grow your coaching business challenge, and it's really centered around everything that I got the tools for myself of how I made that $12,000 in 45 days, plus a load of like little its and bits and tricks in there. So there's going to be mindset, there's going to be systems, there's going to be a lot of community engagement. I'm going to be sharing a lot of free information. That's going to be hosted over on my Badass Business Facebook group. So I can definitely gift
We'll
that
link
into
that in here
Brittany.
too. Yeah. So if anybody
Um,
wants to join that,
yeah, it's honestly, I'm like a kid at Christmas with it. Like this is, I've done a lot of master classes before, but this is going to be the biggest thing that I've ever done. So I'm pulling in a lot of other coaches to help me push through with it. I'm like,
I love
I'm
it.
like,
I love
when you
it.
see me on the live, like I'm gonna be jumping. Like I'm so excited. So
Yeah.
if you get the opportunity, even if you're not a coach and you're feeling called to start coaching, it's really that ideal situation for you where I'm gonna really give you my all. And I can't guarantee that I'm gonna do another one again. So yeah, I would join the Facebook group Badass Business that we'll plug in down below.
Yeah.
And
I'm super
I appreciate you
excited to
guys.
attend it. I just know that like your help with me. So for anyone watching how we connected, I went to a women's event and they had some giveaways. And one of the giveaways was a 90-minute coaching session with Luke, and it was about the bottleneck, like where are you stuck in your business, like what systems, what is it, mindset, is it, some things that you're doing. And I was one of the last names to get drawn, and I was like, I had wanted his, like, because there was different things that you could pick from, and whoever got their name drawn first, it was like, okay, what price do you want? And I was like one of the last ones, and there was like 3 things left, and I was like, it's still here. And I was like, I want this call with Luke. And it was supposed to be 90 minutes. He took the time. We were 2.5 hours, I think. And and you really like gave me some clarity. You really helped me on some certain things where I was stuck. And that was like so beneficial. So I can only imagine how much value this 3-day challenge is going to be. And I'm super stoked about it. I can't wait to attend. I know we're on completely different time zones. It is like 1 a.m. your time right now?
No, it's like 9 p.m. But like I said earlier, like I'm a generator, so like I can work those hours. Like I said to my friend Louise, I think this is like one of my special gifts where like we're in a world where we're so anti work, but if you're somebody who like I fucking love my work. Like I would not change this for the world. I can and will do this all day. I only have boundaries so that I can sleep, really. I wouldn't change this for the world. And I think we had off the back of our call, I think we had like 14 or 15 action steps from like content to sales to mindset to self-love for you as well. So
it was super valuable. So I just know that this challenge is going to be absolutely incredible. I'm super stoked about it. We'll get all that information for you guys watching the replay. I'll have all of that in the comments. Feel free to reach out to Luke directly as well. I'm sure he'd be happy to answer any questions for you. We'll get that habit tracker linked in here. And we'll, keep talking about this. I mean, mindset is so important,
it is everything.
habits is so important, whether you're just looking to improve your health or whether you're looking to grow your business. Like these are things that are going to benefit us in any area of our lives, in all areas of our lives, no matter where we are, just these little things. And it's so amazing. Like I just want to thank you so much for coming into the group and just sharing your story and being so vulnerable, because like I have this, I don't know if you can see it. So that's my semicolon tattoo.
Oh, I love that for you.
For suicide awareness. I lost my father to suicide. I've lost lots of friends to suicide. And, we can be in such a state of despair and feel like there's, no reason for us to continue, that, what's the point? And there is, you guys, like we all have an incredible gift to share with the world, whether you're, a stay-at-home mom or whether you're like a big, CEO or, some famous person. We all have something to give, and we all have a purpose, and we all have a reason to be here. And I know that so many people are struggling with their mental health right now, and there's hope. There's so much hope, you guys. And it's really, about being healthy, right? We need to fuel our bodies properly. We need to move our bodies. We need to work on this mindset. We need to heal from these trapped negative energies that, get stuck in us, these traumas. We have to do all these things. And that's why, holistic health, right? We're focusing on all legs of the chair, the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual. But you know, if you're struggling right now, just know that there is something better out there on the other side. You know, and it starts up here. It starts with, you know, not telling ourselves these fake stories, not, you know, not letting ourselves down continuously and saying, oh, I'm going to start the diet on Monday, or I'm going to do this on Monday. And then by Wednesday, you're like, oh, screw it, you know, and then you just hate yourself again. You know, it really starts with like commitment, changing that mindset, and just, you know, following through with what you tell yourself you're going to do, because you are worth it. You
Yeah,
agree?
100%. Just cement this within yourself. Like every decision you make is a step forward within your mindset and confidence, or it's a step back. So continue to just do the decisions that you feel serve you best. And yeah, they're not all going to be the best ones, but you guys have got it. Like you're here, you've made the decision to show up, and now you're going to get massive impact of that. Whether that's going to be one small action that you change, whether that's going to be you putting some clothes out, whether that's going to be you grabbing some water, whether that's going to be you printing off that habit tracker.
Yeah.
Like you guys have got a beautiful opportunity to move forward. So don't just listen to this and don't do anything. Like take the information from here, even if it's just one thing, implement it, use it within your life. You've got an amazing opportunity. We only have so many days on this earth. Like we're all gonna freaking die. So let's just make it the best that we possibly can. And Brittany, I just want to say thank you so much for having me, and thank you everybody for
Thank
listening in. I
you.
really
Thank
appreciate
you
it.
so much for coming in here and just talking and providing this value. And when is the challenge? Do we have a date
Uh,
yet? Or
the
not quite?
date is, let me pull it up. So it is calendar. It is the 11th to the 13th. It's going to be at roughly 3 p.m. Eastern. There will be video replays.
Cool.
There's going to be giveaways as well. So we might have a 90-minute giveaway going, which
Nice.
Brittany knows how valuable it is.
Yes.
Yeah, there'll be prizes. There'll be a lot of community. There'll be a lot of energy. And you guys will definitely come away with taking
We're
something
excited.
to move forward. So
We'll
yeah.
definitely have some reminders in here too prior to that, because I think just that could be really valuable for a lot of people, whether you're.
Yeah, I think I can tag your event I think I can tag the event to your page. So just let me
Cool.
know if I can do
Yeah,
that. And we'll
for
set that
sure.
up.
For sure. Yeah, I think that'd be great. I'm looking forward to it. I will let you go so you can get some sleep if you need it. But thank you guys so much. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them down below, and we will chat with you guys soon. Thank you.
Yeah, big love. Catch you guys soon.
Bye.
Oh, Brittany, that was so awesome.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, we're still going.
I'm trying
Love
to.
it.